Happy Wellness Wednesday. Um, so I was going to introduce for tonight's play shop some riddles or some wordplay games. So these are things that you can do sitting down, standing up while you're transitioning, depending on, what type of program you have. I do them when we're walking from the challenge course to the dining hall with my kids. I'll do them in the car or during while we're waiting at a restaurant. At camp, I've done them when we're waiting for our turn to get meals, or like if we've finished our food and we're waiting for announcements. But anytime that there's like dead time. And what's great about some of these riddles is that it doesn't you can introduce them and then you can walk away and give the kids time to either problem solve alone in their heads. They can do it collaboratively. You can bring it all back. But it's not something that has to be wrapped up and finished in this set amount of time. This is something that you can revisit anytime during those transition times, or you can set aside time for it wholeheartedly. But the first one is always my go-to. And I tell the kids that this is an awareness activity. So it's challenging how you think about stuff. So I want you to try and zoom out and use all of your critical thinking skills to try and solve the puzzle. And if you have a solution, instead of saying what the answer is, I want you to test your theory. So and one of the things with me that I always tell my kids, and I think I've told this to you guys before, is that you are allowed to do whatever you want with me as long as you are not disrupting somebody else's experience. And so I will often invite my students to use movement. If they feel like they need to move their bodies, go ahead and move your body. That's fine. When we do riddles like this, you can guess the solution as many times as you want, but you are not allowed to do spoilers. All right. So you can't disrupt somebody else's learning experience, nor can you make them feel dumb or silly or bad for not understanding it. So you are in control of your experience with these riddles, and everybody has different skill sets. So I think it's really important to front load that, because when it goes unchecked, especially if you haven't set up some of those norms, people will feel dumb or silly and they will shut down if they didn't figure it out right away. And there are other kids who will gloat or brag that they've figured it out right away. But it's really important to make sure that kids know that everybody has different skills. Everybody has different abilities. And this just might not be one of your strengths. But that doesn't mean that you can't continue to exercise and to try and figure that out. So one of the very first riddles that I will offer my group is called the green glass door. Have you guys ever heard this riddle before? All right, so imagine in your mind, and sometimes I will set the stage and I'll be like, everybody, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to imagine a beautiful meadow. So there's nothing immediately in front of you except a door that is made out of glass. And the glass is a beautiful shade of green. Now, open your eyes. And there's an invisible force field. And only certain things can go through the green glass door. And it is your job to figure out what it is that can go through the green glass door and what can't. I want you to test your theory instead of saying the answer. So I'll give you some examples. A cat cannot go through a green glass door, but a kitten can. A puppy can, but a dog cannot. Coffee can, but tea cannot. I want you to guess things that can go through the green glass door.
Can a doggy go through the green glass door?
A doggy can, but a dog can't. And a tree can go through, but a leaf cannot.
Can
Judy, we
kitties go
can't hear
through the green glass door?
you.
Can an
Yes.
umbrella go through the green grass door?
Yes, it can, but rain can't. Yeah. And so, I feel like you guys know what the rule is for how things can get through the green glass door. But I continue to encourage. Kendra, do you have guesses of what can go through the green glass door?
I think that guesses can go through the green glass door,
Guesses can,
but
Yeah.
yeses cannot.
right?
But yes, what did you say? But yes, can't.
Guesses can, but yeses cannot.
um so this is a fun one, and some of the pitfalls that I see kids trip up on, especially if I start it with the puppies and the kittens. They're like, oh, young things can go through, and then when I say that a tree can but a leaf can't, and they're like, oh wait, but a tree is older than a leaf. And so there's different ways that you can sort of present it, and to get them to bring it back around. And then it's always like, if you've got somebody who's continually like saying what can, while others like don't even get a chance to like offer their guesses, that's when you get to challenge them. That, hey, sometimes leaders take a step back, and they go to the back of the room or the back of the line, and they give space for other people to figure things out. And sometimes, a leader isn't always the person who goes first. Sometimes a leader is the person who helps other people figure it out without giving it away, and I'll ask them if they've heard of what a spoiler alert is, and how does it make you feel when somebody else like spoils the ending for you. And so some of those reframing things I will do in conjunction to offering this. And again, a lot of times I'm working with older youth, but I think the like level 1 riddle is like, I'm going on a picnic and Bryn can bring bread. What are you gonna bring? And then, Kendra, what do you want to bring on the picnic?
I want to bring chicken.
No, you can't bring chicken.
Hmm.
Judy, what do you want to bring on the picnic?
Can I bring jelly beans?
Yeah, you can bring jelly beans. Steve, what would you like to bring to my picnic?
Sandwiches.
Yeah, you can bring sandwiches.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, Kendra, what do you want to bring?
You're bringing bread?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or I could bring butter.
We mustn't forget the sweets.
And I brought chicken that was for a sandwich, but that wasn't allowed.
No. My brother Charlie might be able to bring chicken, but you can't.
Okay. Got it. I'm gonna bring the kale salad.
Oh yeah, I would love a kale salad at my picnic.
Good one.
Yeah. So that's another one. And those ones are very like word related. So the other one that I have that is similar, is grandma likes coffee, but she doesn't like tea. And so then you have to, does grandma like this? Does grandma like that? And so the whole thing is that she likes anything that doesn't have the letter T in it. So grandma likes coffee, but she doesn't like tea. And so does she like sandals? Sure. Does she like computers? No. And so if it has the letter T in there anywhere, she doesn't like it. And so depending on the group, if I feel like I want to scaffold for success, sometimes I will do all those like letter or word ones together. If I want to challenge them more and expand their thinking, I won't do ones that are so letter oriented, because it solidifies one way of thinking. The other, let's see, where did those go? I wrote them down. I put them in the chat. So one of the other ones is, and again, they are all kind of like a verbal phonemic. You have to kind of know how to spell things, which definitely puts some students at a disadvantage. So knowing that there are some students like that are very young, like with green glass door, they might not all know how to spell things really well. Or grandma likes coffee, but she doesn't like tea. And then 4 is cosmic. So this is one where I say, we're going to play a game, we're going to do a riddle, and it's called 4 is cosmic. And so the number 4 is cosmic. And I will tell you, about the other numbers. So give me a number, 0 to 10.
7.
7. 7 is 5. 5 is 4. And 4 is cosmic. This is one that I did on vacation where my kids got it right away and my husband was furious. So guess another number.
6.
6 is 3. 3 is 5. 5 is 4. And 4 is cosmic.
Two.
2 is 3. 3 is 5. 5 is 4. And 4 is cosmic.
Nine.
9 is 4. And 4 is cosmic.
What are we trying to figure out?
What the rule is.
Okay.
And again, if any part of the group starts to check out, it's like, okay, we won't work on this anymore. Let's go do this other thing, and then there's gonna be some that are just, they won't let it go. Like they're the ones that are solution focused, and they almost like can't move on until they've completed it. And then there's other people who are more into, like, they're just not that analytical, completely cerebral. They'll need some sort of tactile or relational focus for them to stay engaged, and they'll be like, I don't get it, peace out, this is not for me, all y'all are just silly for wanting to figure this out. And it's an interesting thing that only you will be able to address those group dynamics when it comes to these things, but they're a really neat way to engage some people that some of the typical games and activities don't always appeal to. And so I think it's really important to give that positive affirmation and the accolades to those students where this is their skill set, because often they're the ones that that don't do well, like maybe in sports or PE necessarily. And so here is a chance for them to shine. But always to balance that with that, you know, challenging them to maybe not be the one to speak first. You know, and again, you'll know the way to do that best for your particular participants. Another one is called Elephants Around a Nalgene. And so
Around the what?
a Nalgene. So a Nalgene is just a water bottle. And so if
It's
I've
really popular when kids are like camping or
Yeah.
down in the United States. They're like the big plastic bottles that
I
are
don't even
supposed
have
to be
one
indestructible.
in here right now, which is
Okay.
why I'm drinking water out of this coffee mug. But I will tell them, I will say there's 2 elephants in this container. There you go. There's an Nalgene. So
Okay.
there's 2 elephants in this container. There's 3 elephants in this coffee mug, and there's 1 elephant on each of these pens. How many elephants are there?
How many in the cup?
3.
7.
There were 5.
Okay.
So this time there's 5 dancing around these pens, 1 doing a handstand on this container, and 1 jumping through the handle. How many this time?
Oh, okay.
I think there are 4.
Yes, there are 4.
Do another one.
So there's 10 inside this container, 10 on top of the container, 10 inside the cup, and 1 perched here, and none on the pens. How many elephants?
Were you doing something with your fingers on purpose?
I think that's where the answer is.
I think there are 3.
Yes, 3 elephants this time.
Well, I was wondering where the bottle was because it's like, okay, is there a trick on that cup? Is the bottle at first? Like, yeah.
So my fingers were just visualizing something that I was audibly. So the answer is in the question. So how many is 2? How many elephants is 3? How many elephants are there is 5 elephants. How many elephants this time?
Words.
So it's how many words you use in the question to ask.
Oh,
And
Lord.
yeah.
No, I would not have gotten that one.
And so again, there's all kinds of complex math. Okay, do they have to be inside the object or outside the object, on the object, beside the object? And then people are doing all kinds of math. And what's great about the debrief of this one is how often do you make problems more complex than they need to be?
Hmm.
How often are you focused on the wrong thing to get to the solution?
All the time.
You know, how do you determine what is a distraction?
Well, these are great.
Yeah.
These would be really good for your kids, Steve.
Yeah.
And yours as well, Judy. But I feel like, yeah, they're fun for adolescents. I feel like they're wonderful for all ages, but especially fun for adolescents.
Yeah.
In
At
one
the
So-
weekend, sorry.
Go ahead.
In the weekend, I took the boys away, and we were doing some lateral thinking games with them. And mostly they couldn't work them out unless we gave them clues.
Mm.
And that was fine because they loved getting the answer eventually. But
Mhm.
these riddles, much easier than lateral thinking.
Mm.
And so I rather like these. And I hadn't heard them before, although I did know the answer to the first one from another game.
Yeah.
Very good. I like these.
And I've got a whole bunch of other ones as well. What I really like about them is that you can set them down and you can come back to them. They're really great to continue to engage during transitions. And sometimes you can just like lob them out there and then walk away from the group and let them work on them themselves. Kind of thing. And it gives them a shared, it's just another problem solving initiative, but it gives them a shared goal or a shared outcome. But depending on how you frame it, you can give it to them as a team challenge or as an individual challenge. And there's places for both of that. Like, hey, I want you guys, it's me versus you. I've got this challenge. You guys as a team have to figure out the answer. Or, hey, let's you guys figure it out and let's talk about different people's strengths and weaknesses. And maybe you're really good at, basketball, but this person over here is really good at riddles, and you both have value here in this classroom as part of this group.
Really good.
So
what is the cosmic number part of that?
oh
I
it's
thought
the
I had
letters,
that, so thank you for going
the
back.
letters in the word. So 4 is 4, and so 4 is,
Oh,
but
I
like
get it.
1 and 2 are 3, 3 is 5, 5 is 4, but 4 is cosmic.
Mm.
Let's do that again, because here I thought I had it. I was all cocky because I thought it was like 1 to 2 to 3, and like when you did the 2
No.
3, that threw it all out. So okay, break it down for me.
The number of letters in the word.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So 1 ONE, 1 is 3, 3 is THREE, so 3 is 5, 5 FIVE, 5 is 4, but 4 FOUR is 4, so 4 is cosmic.
That's
And
brilliant.
Steve, would you mind sharing anything about what you were doing with the kids?
Yeah.
The natural thinking problems?
Here's one. I mean, I can do the lateral thinking ones. I'll share the ones we did. But if you've got a pair of scissors, you can do. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
All kinds of things like. And you give them to the next person. You either say they're crossed or uncrossed.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the scissors, but whether your legs are crossed or uncrossed. And that's a nice game for them to work out, because they do all kinds of things with the scissors or copy you, and
yeah, you can do it with pens and pencils or sticks.
Yeah.
And when you pass it, is it crossed or uncrossed? Yep.
Okay, so break that down. So your legs are, or the items are? You said?
If your legs are crossed, whatever you do to the scissors, it's crossed, even if it's that.
Yeah.
But if your legs are uncrossed, whatever you're doing to the scissors, it's uncrossed. So they're focusing. Yeah. So, that point about what are you focusing on to solve the problem may be the wrong thing. So look at a bigger picture.
But so are you calling on a student and you're saying how?
We'd be in a circle, passing them round and see if they can work it out. And then someone latches on and then, does the right legs.
So the student, so the student has the scissors and they make them straight and their legs are crossed. So they say uncrossed and you say wrong because their legs
Yes.
are crossed. And then they
Yes.
pass them to the next person and they open them and they say uncrossed and their legs are uncrossed. So you say correct.
Correct.
Got it. And they've got to figure out. Very similar, right?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. We do another one about it's called the stick dance. And you get a stick and you do all these elaborate moves and you sing, I can do the stick dance, stick dance, stick dance. I can do the stick dance. Can you? And you pass them the stick. And the key is like you have to say before you do the stick dance, and it's not about replicating the moves.
that one out. Let me see it in action.
You're like
If you
so
wait,
like,
you don't say are you wrong? Like, how is it right or wrong? You know what I mean?
yeah. So as the initiator, you get to kind of decide. But like if they say, I can do the stick dance, stick dance, stick dance, I can do the stick dance. Can you? And the next person doesn't say, then I'll be like, no, you didn't do it. And a lot of times people will say, just by default. And they're like, what do you mean? I did it? We're like, yeah, you did a really good stick dance. And somebody would be like, okay. And the next time they'll do it. And no, you didn't do the stick dance that time.
Did you start off saying You started off saying okay.
Yeah. But you get to decide this, and that's the thing kind of with crossed and uncrossed is like I've seen crossed and uncrossed done with arms, I've seen it done with legs, I've seen it done with fingers, and it's all kind of how, I mean, you present it, but it's your job to have integrity and make sure that whatever the rule is being maintained. Have you ever seen the Johnny Whoops, Johnny Whoops? Yeah, that one's kind of the exact same. Is as long as whatever the rule is, as long as it's maintained, then you get to pick. Or have you played the game? Is it Psychiatrist? I'm going way off book here. This wasn't even at all what I was going to talk to you guys about, but there's a game, Psychiatrist, where you send one person away and then everybody in the circle, and everybody in the circle assumes the identity of the person to their like right. And so then you call the psychiatrist back and they have to diagnose what the problem is with the group. And so they'll ask somebody, what color are your shoes? And you have to answer as if you are the person to your right. And if they ask you something like, do you have any pets? And you answer incorrectly, then anyone in the group can call a psychiatrist, and everybody gets up and rearranges, finds a new spot in the circle. And then the psychiatrist continues to ask questions and has to figure out what's wrong with the group. And then they diagnose, oh, you think you're the person to your right. And then you can.
So the group makes
it
the
up.
rule when the psychiatrist isn't there.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist has to leave the room, and the
Mhm.
teachers, the facilitators got a couple different things that they could choose and helps them pick.
You know, like everybody in the room thinks they are, you know, the principal, and so you have to answer the questions as if you were the principal or somebody else that everybody knows, or like everybody thinks they're a dog. And you all have to answer like, what's your favorite food? Kibble. Like a bone, you know, like socks or whatever. And so then the psychiatrist has to figure out, you know, what the psychosis is.
That's good. I'll try that one.
Love it. Yeah. Yay. Thank you, Bryn.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, that's kind of all I had. I would love to spend a few minutes hearing about, any riddles or jokes or brain teasers that you guys have, or, good ways or times that these would fit into your schedule. But because this is really one of just the game nights, this was really fun and some nice informal riddle stuff. But that was mostly what I had to share. So